This is Lenny Farlee, Purdue University Extension Forester. Now let's ID that tree. In this edition of ID That Tree, we're going to introduce you to one of Indiana's native vine species that actually encompasses several species, and that is the wild grapevines. So wild grapevines are quite common across Indiana, several species distributed around the state, and their strategy for survival is needing pretty much full sunlight to get established and germinate and start growing, but they can grow quite quickly. And using their vining structure, they will climb up onto trees and shrubs and other structures and stay in the sunlight by staying up on the tops of those trees and shrubs. And so we may find grapevines completely in the top of mature forest trees. Grapevines have simple leaves, but those leaves can be quite large. You can see somewhat heart-shaped, although variable in terms of the margins. Some of the margins are really roughly toothed like this. Others have deep sinuses and lobes across the margins, so variable by species. Leaf arrangement is alternating on the vines. The vines are typically a dark brown, ultimately as they age, getting a shreddy, long, pulling bark in strips that's a gray-brown as well, with some tones of reddish-rusty underneath. And these can be quite large. I've seen them nearly a foot in diameter in some cases. One of the really good characteristics for identification of grape is the tendrils that they use to climb that are located directly opposite of where the leaves come out. And so you can look for those tendrils, and that's the structure that makes it possible for a grapevine to cling on to branches, shrubs, and other structures. And in fact, I've got an example here where the grapevine has twirled around and clung on to a dead stem. Wild grapevine does bear wild grapes, although they're quite small, but they can be very fruitful in the sunshine. So they provide both food and cover for wildlife, and even, in the term of that shreddy bark, some nesting materials for some birds. So wild grapevine, alternating leaf arrangement, look for the tendrils that come out opposite the leaves and the very large leaves.